Today's episode is sponsored by Coachella. Did you know that they announced the Coachella? Like, did you know it's festival season, Julie? Um,
Yes.
I
Yes and
have
yes.
I have a question for you, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
Would you go to Coachella?
I don't if I was rich and I was staying in one of those like fancy tents and
Uh-huh.
not like bumming it in a car,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Would
You know,
you?
I don't want to struggle. Like I don't
That's my
I'm
problem.
not camping. I'm not
Oh,
sleeping in a car.
no, no.
I um I
I'm barely
yeah,
going to the shows.
I
So, yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, okay, let me say this. I would not
Okay.
go, but I would go. I've and
Same.
I and
Same.
Coachella is one that I've never experienced. So, yes.
Okay.
Am I going to spend the money on it? No. If somebody sponsors me, yes.
Hello.
Um,
We're available to cover Coachella.
if somebody wants me to give them a blowy in the what do you call those things?
Porta potties?
In the porta potty, only on day one.
Yeah.
Only on
I
day
was
one.
gonna say questionable, babe, but
Then
I'm glad you clarified.
yeah, then I would go. But here's the thing. I'm about to be 35.
Yeah.
And let me say something. 35
Uh-huh.
I think is still really young. I
Yeah.
feel really young and
Says
I
the man.
says what?
Says the man. But no, yes, I agree. Uh-huh.
I feel like I sometimes am a child. My therapist had to remind me that I'm an adult the other day.
Dude, I have that feeling all the time.
And so um there's a lot of other people that are younger than me there.
So much.
And
Yeah,
I'm not
all the energy.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I can be around that. Although, I have friends that are 10 years younger than me and
Uh-huh.
we get along well,
What's
but
that like?
I think
I
it's
don't have any
fine.
friends that are that young.
you know.
No. I
Oh.
mean, I guess the people from work, the
Yeah.
young engineers that come in, they're in their early mid 20s.
Wait, you said young engineers? Like,
I mean,
I mean, I don't know, like a nice young handsome man that's an engineer?
I can't think of one
Oh,
that's
okay.
as described, but I'm sure if I walk the halls a little bit more,
Okay.
maybe,
Okay.
maybe
Oh, remember,
yes.
we're not going to talk about work anymore. Sorry. I got
Let's wait and see
excited.
how long that lasts.
I got excited. Well, welcome to You, Me and Chisme, your number one source for Chisme on the internet. Adrian and Julie here. Hi, Julie.
We're both here. Hi, Adrian.
Um, Comme si, comme ça. Did you ever
I'm
take
doing
French?
great.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
What language did you take in high school?
Spanish.
Okay. Did you take native Spanish?
I thought
Or
there was
did you?
only one level of Spanish.
Uh,
There's like Spanish one, Spanish two. I don't know. I took Spanish one.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about the education system, by the way. But I'm pretty sure some like schools have like native Spanish or like Spanish for native
Interesting.
speakers. No?
I didn't. I didn't. Either
Oh,
way,
I could be wrong. I don't. Why do I think that this is a thing?
that could be a thing. Either way though, I wasn't good at it. You know what
Mm,
fucks me? Prepositions,
mm,
the accents. I
mm.
don't know. I don't know.
You want to know
Um,
something
uh,
embarrassing? And well, when I was in middle school in eighth grade, I remember very distinctly the high school guidance counselors came to the middle school and you had
okay.
to meet with your assigned counselor and you were picking your high school classes for your first year of high school.
How cute is that?
It was yeah. And I have an older cousin. A lot of
Mhm.
my siblings and cousins are much older than me. I had a
Okay.
cousin who was a French teacher at the time, and he had studied French, became a French teacher, blah, 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 blah. I thought, I was like, I can't take Spanish because I speak Spanish at home. So I have to take French because Memo was taking Spanish or he was
Right.
taking French. So I signed up for French for 3 years. Got A's in all 3 years, by the way.
Love that for
But
you.
I was like, I should have been taking Spanish.
No, I love that. I honestly wish I would have taken another language.
No, I wish I would have taken Spanish.
Spanish is still hard.
I know, but I only know Spanish from it being spoken to me.
Sure.
Like
Okay.
I
Well,
would have
okay.
loved to take in Spanish when I was in high school.
Have you retained the French?
Uh, uh hello, I just said comme ci, comme ça.
Okay. No, but really.
Je parle le français un peu.
Okay, but I have no way whether you're I have no way of knowing whether you're spot on or not. No, I believe you. But also, I mean, sure, I feel like Spanish sometimes it's harder because you're used to casually speaking it
Sure.
and
Yes.
relearning all the annoying accents
Yeah.
and ways to say things properly and correct words because I don't know a lot of correct words. I just
Right.
fluff it up.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was hard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here we are.
Here we are, barely bilingual.
Well, the only I would host I would host an entire episode in Spanish, but somebody would have to pay us to do it.
100%. Do
Because
you
I'm
guys
not
want
going
to
to
pay us
embarrass
too?
myself for free.
For free.
I
Oh,
do
I
that
do
every
that
day.
on our
I walk out
TikTok.
my apartment.
That's amazing. Do you guys want us to do an all Spanish episode? I mean, I wonder how much of our audience is Spanish speaking in general.
Oh, okay. Class, raise your hands.
Let me count. You guys should let us know if you guys are bilingual. Do you guys know Spanish? Well, Spanish specifically. Other language, we cannot help you there. We can barely help you in Spanish. So, yeah, I'm not great. I'm not great at it, as our Spanish TikTok comments will tell you.
And I just want to say, I I feel confident in the Spanish that I know, but I know that my
Mhm.
Spanish isn't anything to write home about.
Right.
Um, because I have met much better Spanish speakers
Can
in my
you
life.
hold a conversation with a Spanish speaker from like Mexico?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah,
Okay. Okay, then that's not
yeah.
really unique. That's all you really need.
And from other countries,
Well, yes,
Spanish
but
speaking
Mexico,
countries.
but every Spanish speaking country has different words
Absolutely,
for
yes.
things, different like
Hmm.
different phrases, different
Yes, yes.
slang that they use. Because I watch TV shows from Spain and I'm consistently lost.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Spain is awesome. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna have Christian come on and he'll teach us Salvadorian Spanish, different things to say that Salvadorians say in Spanish. I recently read that Salvadorians are like the next or creeping up on the highest number of people that they have in the country, maybe California, next to Mexicans. So, hello to all our Salvadorian fans. We love you. What did you say? Wait, why can't I hear you? I can't hear you.
because I muted myself
Oh my God.
because I was drinking water.
You're so embarrassing.
I agree. Moving on.
I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been watching us on YouTube. We've had really good numbers.
We have. I
Um,
saw them the other day.
yeah, on our YouTube page.
You
So,
guys, you're obsessed.
hi everyone.
Hi,
You can see our
everyone.
beautiful shining faces.
Aren't you guys lucky?
I need to get a better light because this light washes me out in a very weird way.
Mm,
Um,
get a ring light.
yeah, I mean these are ring lights, but
Oh,
these are like hand-me-downs that my
awkward.
roommates gave me. I'm gonna need to get another light.
Mm,
Anyways, okay, are you okay? You're fine. You're doing well. You're like,
I'm
oh my
good.
God, you're doing. I hit my laptop, so it looked like I was. Wow. You can only see it on YouTube. Head over
Yeah,
to our YouTube channel
run
to
to
watch what just
YouTube.
happened. You're doing okay. We're week 3 of January
Week three.
2024. Are you okay? You're alive. You're still hopeful.
I am still alive. I am still hopeful. I'm
Okay.
still walking 10,000 steps every single day. And let me tell you something. I
Woo!
don't know. Thank you. I don't exactly know how I'm doing it. It's been harder. The further away from January 1st that we get, the harder it seems to be getting to accomplish the 10,000 steps. So like today, I didn't walk like 1,000 steps by noon. I didn't even have 1,000 steps. And I was like, ma'am. So then of course I had
Mm,
to get my ass up and walk.
mm, mm.
But yeah, it is getting harder, but we're doing it. I still feel pretty good. My mood's good. Not
Okay.
depressed. I'm not in
Okay.
bed. Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like one day at a time.
One day at a
One
time.
day at a time. I'm doing well. It's busy. This is the busiest January I've ever had at work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Also, I realized I was feeling very hopeful about the year, and I still very much so do.
Okay.
And I don't want to be that person that talks about therapy all the time. I really, really don't. I don't want to
I
make it my
want you to be that
personality.
person.
Thank you. But I had a really good therapy session this week
Hmm.
where I cried for the last 15 minutes of it, and I felt good about it.
Okay.
I didn't feel it didn't like it didn't make me feel like okay, this year's gonna go to shit. It made me
Okay.
feel it made me feel like you know what it was actually?
Okay.
I appreciated that I had somebody to go and talk to about something that I probably wouldn't have talked to anybody about. And the release
Hmm.
was therapeutic.
Right.
Um, and so it felt good. I don't know if that made sense, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I still because I'm very hopeful about the year. And so even whatever that little thing I was crying about still makes me feel good. So, you know,
I love that.
the
Look at you healing and
year is a
growing.
marathon.
It
It's
is.
it's not a um I don't know what
Sprint.
a sprint. The year is a marathon.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm okay. I'm by the way, I'm totally fine.
No, he's good. He's good. This is good.
Yeah, no, I'm not like it wasn't I don't think it was anything bad. It was just me learning something new about myself.
Right.
And so, you know, so is life. Also I enjoy crying. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Well, it's
Yes.
new for me.
Crying
It's
is great.
newer for
Yeah, yeah,
me.
yeah.
I still don't cry at like, the drop of a pin, but you
Right.
know, I'm I'm a-okay by the way.
You know what's crazy though? I used to be like that. And then I
Uh,
went to therapy and
uh
the floodgates have been opened.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So
And not
this is
every
great.
therapy session is like that, by the way.
Right. But
Um,
I think people know.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. Some people probably think that it's like you're facing um I don't know, you're facing a judge and jury every time or something like that. Or like your
You know,
heart's gonna be it's not. It's not. Yeah.
okay. you, Bestie, you sound very defensive. And you don't need
What? I
to.
sound what?
Very defensive. And
Oh
you don't
no.
need to.
I'm not. I swear I'm
Just
not.
tell you.
I'm not.
Okay. You just said, and it's not like that. It's not. It's not. So maybe a little bit. But
Okay.
therapy is great. And
I enjoy
someday
it. I enjoy it very much. I just want you to know.
I do. I don't know if I'm perceiving it wrong. Like, listeners, send us a DM because I feel like you're so like, no, but I do, but I do. I love it. I love it. In case don't think that I don't, because I already and that yes,
I just want people to feel encouraged to go to therapy, you know.
right.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
want them, I'm just trying to make a point that I enjoy it.
He enjoyed it. Crying doesn't happen all the time. To recap, he enjoys it. Okay. He doesn't cry every session. And this is a
Right.
good thing, everyone. Stop
Yeah.
asking. It's a
Right.
good
Leave me
thing.
alone. I'm the one who brings up therapy every time. Ugh.
Oh, I love it.
I swear it'll only happen for a couple more weeks, and then then I'll be over it. It's still new to me, so I get
No, I want you
excited.
to talk about it constantly.
Hmm.
I mean, because that means that there's constant growth, like new
Yes, I
developments are
agree.
happening.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you stop
I'm
talking about it, it's you've plateaued.
right. Right. Oh, plateau. Talk that was a conversation I had with my therapist not too long ago.
Okay.
The key word being plateau there.
Okay.
Um, okay. I will tell you something.
Tell me.
I got drunk on Sunday.
Ooh, how's that?
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
do it.
no. I get it.
I no, listen, I enjoy having a drink.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting a little drunk.
Hmm.
I probably shouldn't be drinking for, I don't know, 9 hours, you know? Mm.
9 hours.
Well, listen,
What was the occasion?
my friend Alex,
Alcohol was expiring?
not my, you know, Jaime.
Sorry. I just cracked myself up with my own joke.
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, it's okay. It was funny to me, and that's what matters.
Okay, I'll listen. I'll
Okay,
hear
I'm
it when I
sorry.
listen to this episode again. You know, my friend and roommate Jaime,
Uh-huh.
his cousin Alex,
Okay.
who's a dear friend of mine, was celebrating his
Mm-hmm.
birthday, and we went out for his birthday.
For 9 hours.
It was a
What time
Sunday
did you
fun
guys?
day. We
Oh, it was Sunday.
we
Okay,
started
okay.
at 1, and then I probably get home around like 10:30.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sundays,
Anyways,
there's different rules, you know?
and it was a holiday weekend,
Okay.
so you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to discourage anybody from inviting me out to a drink, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, I just probably shouldn't drink for that long.
Yeah, no.
Also, I do you know what thistle? I don't know what these call thistle pills. Do I call them thistle pills, Jaime?
What'd you call
Thistle. They're for
them?
like
Uh-huh.
first, so you take them before you drink, and it helps with the hangover. I took
Did
them.
they work?
Yeah, well, I took it the day before, or I took it the day of Jaime's and Ken's wedding.
Mm.
Woke up feeling great the next day. I mean, not like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was, but yeah. And then I took him again this time, and it was great. Please invite me
Mm.
out to drinks. I'm happy to go have drinks. Please, I just shouldn't go drinking in West Hollywood for nine
For
hours.
9 hours. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that's
And the
wild.
people who are out there, my God, they're all so young,
They're
and
getting younger and younger.
none of them are cute. Ooh.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I mean, not that I'm, anything to write home about, but I
I'd write home
mean,
about you.
that is so sweet.
I mean, aren't I the nicest?
Okay. um,
Uh,
Julie, I heard we got fan mail.
we did get fan mail. We did
Okay.
get fan mail. And I'd like to make a public service announcement to say, guys, I love you, all of you, but you have to stop paying people to send in voice memos. You can't be paying people to send in voice memos. And this is a perfect example. We're still going to play it because out of the kindness of our heart, but we know that this person was paid, and that's unethical.
You know, I was gonna bring this up too after we played it because I was like, somebody told this person to submit this.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
I want to look at these people's Venmo requests.
you know what it sounded like?
Tell me.
Like this person had like a gun up to their head reading a
100%.
note. And I was like, what is this?
100%. 100%. And when you guys hear it, you're gonna hear what we hear. And you guys cannot pay people or threaten people to send in voice memos. You cannot do that.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Welcome back, you guys. Happy New Year. Good to see your faces. Can't wait to hear what y'all have to say. There's already so much happening in the new year. But I really want to ask, when are we going to hear from Angie officially? I think there's so much that she might have to say about what's going on, and I think her voice is going to be very beneficial to hear from. And I hope we get to hear that soon.
That was courtesy of Liz. Hi,
Liz.
Liz.
Hi, Liz. I'm so
Um,
sorry your life was threatened. That's a lot.
I mean, she didn't sound happy.
I hope you have. I almost heard someone say, Angie.
Well, listen, if there's one thing here at Yumi and Chisme that we're proud to be,
Yeah.
is that we are proud to make dreams come true. And so, Angie, come on in.
Hello. And let me just say, sir, madam, that is slander that you would say that I would pay someone or threaten someone. Slander, absolute slander.
That's what
Well,
somebody like you would say.
yeah, exactly.
Let's give a big you, me, and Chisme round of applause to Angie. Yay! Woo! Maybe should I fit in like applause sound
You
like
should.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do that, but maybe if I can figure it out. Angie, who is infamous on the podcast because Angie always wants to be our producer, but yet never shows up to work. But the day
Never.
we say, come on and talk, she's the first one to show up. She was the first one on the Zoom meeting, by the way.
I believe it. I believe it.
I was ready.
Angie, welcome to Yumi and Chisme, your number one source for Chisme on the internet. It's Angie joining us on the podcast. Ladies, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about, well, we have Angie here, and Angie is knowledgeable on topics that we are not. And we have gotten her permission we have gotten her permission to broach the subject with her. Is that the right way to say that?
Sure, yeah. This is your show, so
okay.
Say whatever.
I can make up whatever word I want.
Exactly.
So Angie, for those of you that do not know, before she was our makeshift producer, and before she did other things, she was also a stripper.
So say it louder.
Stripper. She stripped. She was a stripper. Oh my God, Angie. Okay. She was showing them titties. Yes, she was. So tell us how did you get there?
Yeah. So, surprise, surprise, I grew up in a toxic household. So, at a very young age, a part of me was like, as soon as I turn 18, I got to get out of here. My first job was like working fast food. And at the age of 16, I'm like, fast food money is not going to cut it if I want to get my own apartment and just be sustainable on my own. So it was just this thought in my head of, I'll just be a stripper. And one of my managers at the fast food restaurant that I worked at, she was in her late 30s, I believe. And she had told me, oh, Angie, I used to be a stripper back in the day. So I was like, really? Tell me more. So for almost like 2 years, she mentally prepared me for what it would be like going into work as a stripper. And she told me, don't make friends with the girls. The girls aren't there for your friend to be your friend or anything like that. So it really set me up in a sense of being aware of my surroundings. So when 18 came around, I was like, all right, let's do it. And found this strip club kind of out of the way, like maybe 40 minutes out of the way, and showed up and said, hey, I want to strip. And they're like, how old are you? Because I had braces. And they had to check
braces?
my age. Yeah. And that's kind of what started my career as a stripper. And I did it from ages 18 to 23 off and on. I had gotten into a few relationships and they always say, oh, I don't want you stripping anymore. I'm like, okay, well, you met me there. But I did it off and on until I finally had gotten to a point in my life where I was just like, yeah, I guess it served its purpose. It helped pay for a lot of like my college classes. It got me to where I needed to be, so where I could take care of myself financially.
That's fascinating. Okay, I have a couple questions. First of all, I do want to, how do you two know each other? Because you two are longtime friends.
We are. We met at a hotel we used to work at together.
Oh, nice. Okay. And your friendship has blossomed, and that's how
It's
I know
awesome.
Angie, through Julie.
Yeah.
And I do remember the first time we met, Angie, because I
It
don't.
was, I do.
Oh,
It was at the housewarming
okay.
party
That's
that
what I
Candace
thought.
and Julie had, and that's where I met you.
Mhm.
And you met my
That's all.
husband too.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Because if there's one thing I love to talk about on this show, it's other people's husbands. And let me tell you, good for you, Angie. Good for
You.
you. Yeah.
And my husband and I have known each other since third grade.
Really?
Yeah, we grew up together, and it's funny going back to like the stripping days. I used to call him on my way home when we were just friends, and I'd be like, "Guess how much I made tonight?" and all that.
Wait, and was he in love with you the whole time?
No, I don't
No.
think so. It wasn't until I can't tell when like this
Hmm.
infatuation he had with me started, but we both were in a place where we were kind of going through breakups, and we leaned on each other for support, and
That's beautiful.
then we got married.
Did you
But
grow up
notice
here?
how the infatuation was with her. Okay, tell us about when you liked him.
Well, it was funny because he hit me up on MySpace. Remember
Oof.
Oh,
MySpace?
Mhm.
He
MySpace.
was
What a
like,
time to be
"Hey,
alive.
Angie, long time no see." And we had a lot of mutual friends as well because we hadn't spoken in a few years.
Oh,
And
he already liked you.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Funny enough, Eric's high school girlfriend, who he was with for like 6 years, maybe 7, she's coming over on Friday to pick up like an exercise equipment that I don't want anymore because I knew her.
Oh, wow.
Because they all
Yeah,
went to school together.
because we all went to school together. She's
Interesting.
married, she has kids,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and we got together long after they had broken up, and he was like in another relationship, and that had messed up. So,
Yeah. So you grew up here in Southern California.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you think that there was a moment where do you think that your decision to become a stripper was anywhere from a sense or from a feeling of despair, or like to make money, or what do you think that feeling was when you were like, I'm gonna do this? What was that internal monologue in your head?
I think you're right with that feeling of despair because I grew up in a toxic household. And I just wanted to find a way out. But there was a lot of empowerment that came with it as well. I really enjoyed working at the club. I enjoyed being on the stage. I enjoyed taking my clothes off and having men and sometimes women just kind of like swoon over me and just kind of approach me like, "Oh my God, can I get a dance from you?" Or like the VIP and stuff like that. So there was a huge sense of empowerment that came from it. And I wasn't fully naive. I had gone through a lot as in my adolescence, but there was a lot of naiveness within me at the age of 18. So going through that experience taught me a lot about life, about men, about business, about how life works in general.
Got it. Wow. How
Okay,
much money
wait.
did you make? Sorry.
No,
Is
no,
there
no.
like a
It varies. So I had found my niche. I hated working on the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays. It's just filled with a bunch of and this was like in the Inland Empire. So it was just filled with a lot of
Mm,
bros who, had their lifted Chevy S10 truck with the skin sticker on the back. I'm
mhm.
aging myself, obviously, you can tell, but they didn't spend money. And I had noticed when I worked on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays, slow nights, but those were the nights that the demographic of men that found me attractive were coming in and spending a lot of money.
And would you say that
So,
it was also like professional men who were before they went home after work, as opposed to like the weekend when those men are stuck with their families or doing whatever it is?
oh yeah,
They're,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the most money I made was in Orange County. A
Oh,
lot of older Caucasian men
right.
who would be like, "Oh, you're so exotic," and I'm like, I mean, we're in Southern California, not really, but okay. And it's funny you had mentioned Salvadorian. I'm Salvadorian as well, so I'm like,
Angie, we've made it. We have
yes.
made it. Julie, I don't want
Okay,
to.
so no, it's okay. I wanted to go back to going to the club. So is it that, well, obviously you and the way you look, but is it really that going into the club and being like, I want a job? And they're like, cool, show up this day. Or is there like an audition or something that else, like some other interview process that you would have to do? Or it's just, I want a job. Great, show up on this day.
For me, it was always, I want a job, great, come on Sundays, or maybe let's say Mondays, they'd be like, that's when we have new girls start. Um,
Mm,
and I've never had to audition, with one exception when I went to a Spearmint Rhino. Um, if you think about like corporate strip clubs, Spearmint
mm,
Rhino is one of those where they don't have new girls start. They all start on like one day, and it's kind of like an audition, and they do like a competition cash prize for like whoever scores highest with like they get people in the audience who want to like score all the new girls, and I did
mm,
that once just for
Oh.
like, because I had a friend that I had made who said, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Spearmint Rhino. Can you go with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? I'm not doing anything. Maybe I'll make some money."
mm-hmm. So
And
how
the
does,
money,
mhm.
it would range. I would average about $200 to $500 a night. Um, and then like on a really good night, I could go home with like $2,500. But there were slow nights too, where I might go home with like $60. It would happen.
And then how does that money work with the club? Like how do you pay them out or how does
Mhm.
that work?
So, the last club I worked at, I really liked their payout system, but the first $60 that you make, and typically at the time lap dances were $20 a
Mm,
song. So the first three songs, that money goes straight to the club. That's your house fee. You pay the club the
mm,
house fee, and then um, every three songs you did, so every $60 you made, they took $10 of that. And they had
mm,
bouncers that would kind of just walk the club, and there were designated dancing areas, and they would just kind of like with a little clipboard mark off how many dances you do. And at the end of the night, they just tally everything up, and then you pay
mm,
um,
mm,
your dues. And then, of course, you tip people. You tip the waitresses, you tip the DJ, of course.
mhm,
You tip whoever works within your vicinity, kind of like a restaurant, you tip everyone.
mhm.
And
Interesting.
um, what did your family think, or were they involved? Do you have a relationship with them? What was that process at? Did you ever tell them?
Um, since my family wasn't really involved in my life, I didn't talk to them much. I did tell my brother because he would frequent strip clubs a lot. I'm like, hey, don't go to the
Uh-huh.
strip club. I'm working there.
Uh,
So I didn't want some awkward, like, oh crap, there's my brother. Um, but I did have close people in my life who were like father figures to me, and I did express it to them that that's what I was doing, and it's not something that they wanted, but thankfully, my father figure, Steve, who was very money savvy, said, okay, well, if this is what you're doing, we got to make sure you're putting money away and saving and putting into like a Roth IRA and stuff like that.
and did you do that?
Yes.
And did it set you up for success financially?
Um, yes and no, because I was young and dumb, and I did spend a lot of money too on stupid things, of course. And then living on my own, a lot of the money was going towards like my own apartment. And I had a very nice apartment and had furniture, all the stuff that like an 18, 19-year-old shouldn't really have. But I had it just because I wanted to live comfortably. So I didn't save as much as I should have to set me up for financial success, but it did make me a lot more money savvy.
Right. Did you ever become friends with any of the girls?
I did, even
And
though
do
I
you,
was told not to, but
right. And why do you think that they told you not to?
well, for good reason. While I did make friends with one or two girls, one of them ended up being one of my bridesmaids who I still talk to this day.
Lovely.
Um, the girls are mean. They were
Mm,
so mean. Like push me to the edge of my tears mean. Like I left one club because of how mean they were to me. And I remember talking to one of the managers and he just sat me down. He's like, you know why they're mean to you, right? And I said, no, I've never done anything to them. He's like, it's because you make money
right.
and they see you as a threat or you're taking their customers away from them. And I'm like, I would, there's like stripper codes of conduct. You don't go up to a guy if another girl's sitting with him and stuff like that. And I never did anything like that, but they made me feel like I was just a horrible person. So sometimes the environment that the girls would produce in the club would just be so toxic.
Right. And what about the people who owned the club or the non-strippers who worked at the club?
Yeah.
What was your experience with them? 'Cause sometimes you'll see movies about strippers and it's like the guy, the man who owns the club is trying to, steal all the money from the girls that are doing the work. Is that
Yeah.
the case? Did you experience that?
I didn't experience that. I always had somewhat of a professional attitude. So it was just like, hey, I'm here to work. Here's my cut. Here you go. And they were always really cool with me.
Oh my God, interesting. Okay, what about the clientele? What's the worst experience that you had with someone?
Oh, the worst experience. There was a guy who came in and he wanted to get a dance from me. And he emphasized, hey, I like to be a little rough. Is that okay? And I know a lot of people say like, oh, they're not allowed to touch the strippers. Yeah, they are. Like when you go to the back room, they can put their hands on our hips, on our titties, all that. There's just no,
Mm-hmm.
don't try to penetrate the ladies. Be a gentleman, of course. A lot of clubs had rules like don't come in here wearing sweats or like basketball shorts, and stuff like
Mm,
that. But there was one guy who I was like, okay, sure, yeah, you can be a little rough. But this guy tried to like choke me out.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was like, mm-mm. And I had walked away and I told him like, no, that's too rough. Didn't see him again. A few weeks later, I see him again. And me, because it was a slow night, we were like, okay, I'll get another dance with you. Cause I think he wanted to do like a VIP, which was an
mhm.
automatic $100 in my pocket. And like the club gets 25 of it. And sure enough, he does it again. But I had warned the bouncer and they
Mm,
stopped it and kicked him out.
Wow.
that is scary.
Now, on the opposite end of that,
Mhm.
were there ever any guys that came in that you were like, okay, he's hot?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
um, there was this one guy, and I actually ended up dating him a bit.
Ugh, love that.
Um, he had come in, he was by himself, and he was this guy in the Air Force. Um, tall, really muscular. You know what's funny? Remember Emperor's New Groove?
Yes.
Crunk, the big guy. He kind of looked like obviously a handsome version of it, but that was like his statuette.
Uh-huh.
He was
Yeah,
like
I'm
this
very
big,
into it. Yeah.
tall, dark, and handsome.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I sat down next to him, like, "Hey, what's up? Like, how's your night going?" And he's like, "Oh, it's good. It's my birthday." I'm like, "Is it really your birthday?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he shows me his ID, and it's actually his birthday. So I was like, "Oh, okay. Let me give you a free dance." Like that's my marketing tool. Like, let me pull you in with one. I'll hook you, and then you'll
Mm-hmm.
spend more. And we had like sections for like $10 lap dances where like I just kind of hover in the air over him. So that of course then he was like, "Oh, let's get a VIP." Anyways, we got to talking, got his number, and we dated a bit. And of course that fizzled out. But yeah, there were guys where I was just like, wow, they're really cute.
Um, and did he ask you for your number before he left? Did he
Yeah,
pass you a note? Did he like what? How did you know? I've never gotten a lap dance at a strip club. I've been to one strip club in Riverside,
Mm.
and I sat in the corner and twirled my thumbs. The ladies came up to me and they were like, you want to dance? And I was like, oh no, I'm okay, thank you. But you look pretty. Um, um, I guess, yeah, I mean, are there rules? Can they just ask you for their number? Like, is that appropriate?
some clubs would tell me like, no, you don't want to do that, obviously for safety concerns,
Right.
because you don't know what's out there. um I usually would try to vet my customers, my clients, the guys, like, do they seem crazy? And yeah, I would give them my phone number. Then you get guys who just like nonstop call you all the time and they want to see you outside of the club. And it was always like, no, you can see me at the club. Um, but for someone that you feel like, okay, they seem safe enough, we can go on a date, and it was always like, yeah, take me to, a restaurant or something public.
Right. And buy me dinner, bitch.
I eat dinner. And most of my clients, like I mentioned, were older Caucasian men from Orange County. Um, I did very well. I had an American Express card in the company name. I had my cell phone paid. I had my car note paid. It was like, if you were a client of mine, you're going to pay a bill.
Hold on now. You were making these men pay your bills?
Yeah.
I am obsessed with that. And then these are men that did you have relationships with these men outside of the club, or were they only coming to see you at the club?
They were only coming to see me at the club, except for like one or two. There was
Ah,
the one who gave me the American Express card with the company name. I would go over, and he was a much older man, like maybe in his late 60s.
mhm.
Um, but I never had to do anything with him.
Right, yeah.
There are other men who would expect things after a certain amount, but he just wanted companionship, someone to hang out with, someone to
Yeah.
go with him to the grocery store and just, oh, you want to come over and watch a movie? So it got to the point to where I was like, yeah, if that means he's gonna make my car payment, okay.
Yeah. Did you buy anything good with the American Express card?
So I was allowed to use the American Express card for like I could go to Target, but I couldn't buy groceries with it. I could go out to dinner, but I'd have to put it in a certain dollar range so they could expense it as business expenses because groceries you can't write off. So
Right.
everything else was so
Wait, he
all my purchases were stuff that could be written off within a business.
right, right, because it's the company card. Right. Okay. I love that. How do I get a company card?
Well,
That's hilarious.
you, me, and Chisme can get a company card.
Okay. That's not what he meant, and you know it. And you know it.
Yeah, not what I meant.
That's hilarious. Do you think that working at clubs influence the way, sometimes we're like, oh, fucking men, right? Do you
Yeah.
think that it influences the way that you see men or what you think of them or their existence and their behavior? And do you have any preconceived notions because of the interactions that you had in clubs?
Oh, absolutely. I think I definitely don't have this mentality of fucking men are all the same because I experienced so many different types of men at the club. Men who were complete sweethearts, who were gentlemen, who just were really nice. And then you had the fucking assholes who are just fucking dicks. And they're rude and you just don't associate yourself with those guys even if they are going to say, oh, I've got no, it's fine. There are plenty of other men here who are going to be respectful and nice. And for the most part, my experience dancing, 90% of the men are always nice. And
Mm.
even men who would turn you down, they weren't like, oh no, you're ugly, or no, I never experienced anything like that. Everyone has a type. So if I remember there were these guys who came over, and I think they were Chinese, and he had made a comment because he didn't speak English very well, and he goes, "Oh, no, sorry, I like blondes and really petite blondes." Okay, I'm not going to get
Mhm.
offended over that.
Right.
It's a candy shop. What's your flavor?
Right.
That takes, I think, I mean, obviously being a stripper and getting naked in front of people takes not just courage, but like a self-esteem that is almost bulletproof, if you will. Do you like, do you identify in that way?
Yes, I can
Or
answer that for her. She does.
No,
She does
I am
100%.
so insecure.
Shut
I
up.
am. I still get in my own head. I'll see another gorgeous girl and I'll be like, "Oh, look how perfect her nose is," or "Look how perfect her lips are." And I
Sure.
still go like,
But
"Oh."
you're more confident than most, for one. Yeah, last night you said something, and I was like, this bitch and her confidence, I'm obsessed with it. I forgot what it was, but you said something yesterday when we were at was it yesterday? Tuesday. On Tuesday when we were at the thing, when you took off your jacket, and I was like, this bitch, this bitch. So
I
absolutely.
think it's come with
Angie,
age because definitely
maybe.
when I was stripping, there was a lot of insecurity, and I got a lot of my security and affirmation from how much money I made and the compliments men or other women would give me. I'm not at that point anymore now where it, I don't value the dollar amount that's given to me for my
Right,
beauty or how men may lust over me. It's more
right,
of a just I'm confident and assured of myself. Like I'm Angie. This is who I am. Like I wear my hair curly now, but back then I was always straighten it because, you know, Eastern European beauty standards, stuff like that, and now
right,
I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I'm Angie. I have curly hair. This is the color of my skin, and I'm confident in that.
right.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably a double-edged sword to work at a club because on one hand, you're standing on that stage and probably are feeling confident for, that minute or 2 minutes that you're dancing up there. And then you get down and you're standing next to women that you're comparing yourself to. And maybe one
Yeah.
looks better that day and you know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. I worked in Vegas a couple times, and I hated it because man, these women were gorgeous and breast implants, butt implants, and
yeah,
I never, I stayed natural the whole time. So a part of me would be like, oh my God. But of course, you have men who like women who are all natural as well.
right,
So I think it's just kind of having that emotional intelligence of just realizing like I am who I am.
hmm,
But I think uh being now out, as an older woman, and I say older, I'm 36, but
right,
um I think if I wasn't married and if I was out there dating, I would pick up on a lot more social cues that maybe toxic men with their red flags, I would have been like, nope, absolutely not. Because I did date a lot of toxic men. I was exposed to a lot of toxic men. So
hmm,
now when I see how certain men behave, I'll be like, absolutely no, stay away.
hmm.
Right.
So it definitely taught me a lot.
Do you think that stripping affected the way that you view sex or your approach to sex or your own sex life? Um, that maybe it would have been different if you hadn't worked in
Oh,
clubs?
yeah. Again, childhood trauma. So I had already had a distorted view with sex because of my first relationship was with a much older man. So that's another story.
Mhm.
But I think I used sex as a way to disassociate my emotions. So I viewed sex as simply just it's for pleasure, it's to get your mind off things, it's to not focus on what's going on in the world until I got older and of course years of therapy to get through a lot of that trauma to where I am in my marriage with my husband where sex is meaningful and there is emotion associated with it.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
There
We both were like, that's beautiful.
we want a husband like Eric.
Yeah.
There in I believe it's in North Hollywood. There's a strip club where the women have unionized.
Mhm.
Thoughts on that?
Well, steering my career into HR now, I'm actually very anti-union.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't like unions in the workforce. I think unions are great for like the dock workers in San Pedro and electrician, actual laborers. When you unionize a profession that isn't taxed on your income, you're gonna get taxed.
Mhm.
Um, there are definitely a lot of issues that surround sex workers that a union can definitely protect. But I think a lot of these strippers that have unionized fall in line with the kind of unions for the actors and actresses of like medieval times.
Mhm.
And that's not always going to be beneficial for the the stripper that has the hustle mindset of let me make my bill, let me get my stack, and I'm going to put it towards this. Now you have a union saying, okay, well, these are the regulations. You have to work at least 3 nights a week. You need to do this. You need to do that. Um, I'm assuming there might be an hourly wage involved with it as well now. But that means the club has a lot more influence on what they can say that you're allowed to do. You have to be here at these hours and this day. Whereas when you're an independent contractor as a stripper, you come in when you want to.
Do you think that if there do you think that it would make more sense if there were laws and policies put in place by the government having to do with sex work? If we legalize sex work, um, would that be more beneficial than having strippers in a club unionize, where they may be looking for certain protections that they can't get because this type of work isn't, well, I mean, I'm not an expert, but are is stripping protected in the law, in, like, in,
As far as like labor law,
yeah.
I mean, it's been over what 15 years since I have last stripped, and labor laws have changed since then. So I haven't kept up to date with how it is for strippers, but you were an independent contractor, so you don't get health benefits, you don't get an hourly wage, you don't get sick time, you don't get maternity leave, but at the same time, you're making damn good money. So, when I would want to take a month off because I was just burnt out, I would just work really hard for like 2 weeks, make a lot of money, and then stack that money. Um, I honestly believe that if sex work was legalized and regulated as it is in other countries, like I'm going to use Thailand as an example, where they have prostitutes that are protected by the government, they have health care, they get STD checks. You see that the statistics of rape and crime against women have gone down. I'm not going to say it's non-existent because, men still will commit these crimes, but that outlet where angry men or emotionally battered men that turn into rapists, they now have that outlet where they can go and get a prostitute and fulfill their sexual desire, and they don't have to hurt or kill anyone.
Right. Yeah. Do you think, I mean, I don't know, do you think that we'll ever get to that point where we'll legalize sex work in this country?
I think when we are the age that the boomers are now, so once we get to that stage in politics where all the boomers are gone, that are the Nancy Pelosi's and the Trumps and the Mitch McConnells, when they're out of the office because they love to preach their religious views on how society should be, which obviously is very anti-sex work. But we'll get to that point to where finally I think people realize, hey, sex workers are workers and they are providing a service to that niche of clientele, and they're able to sustain themselves.
Right. Julie, do you have any final questions for our guest of honor here today?
Yes, I was going to ask if someone is thinking of becoming a stripper, what is the advice that you are now going to pass down to someone thinking about it?
I think to just be confident in yourself, but that being a stripper has evolved so much since I've done it. You've got OnlyFans now. I mean, you have girls who have created entire careers. I mean, these girls are buying their own Ferraris and Maseratis and are making bank on a whole other level than I ever could during that time. So I think it's important not to get mixed up with social media and stuff that can be permanently out there. I'm thankful that, um, I didn't go into porn, even though that was presented to me at one point. Um, there are certain things that just will always stick on you. Um, so if you were to go into, like, let's say just stripping, it's just being aware, handle your money, being emotional intelligence, and staying away from drugs and alcohol. I sound like an after school special, but I would see a lot of girls who, got mixed up with drugs, and I'm like, God, they're such a mess. And they were my inspiration to never want to fall down that hole.
Yeah.
I have two final questions for you. And you don't have to name names. Did you ever have anybody famous or notable as a client or as a customer?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe off air. And then my final question, how do you look back at those years today? What is your kind of sentiment and feeling about the whole experience?
I think there definitely was some trauma associated with having to do that. I worked at full nude strip clubs. And there's a difference in California between full nude and like topless or bikini only. Full nude will not serve alcohol, while topless and bikini do serve alcohol. I worked at the full nudes. I think I worked at one that might have only just been topless, but you make more money at full nude.
Right.
There's definitely some trauma. Looking back at it, I wish I didn't feel like I had to do that. It's not something that little girls aspire to want to do, but I do look back and it made me very confident, very smart in how I perceive the world now. I'm not naive. I look at things from different angles, and it's made me a lot more articulate, maybe like with my street smarts. And it carried over into my professional career when I went and directed my career into human resources. My negotiation skills are tits.
Mhm.
So, it's there's the good and the bad of it. And I think years of therapy have helped me reflect back on that. Well, yes, part of it was traumatizing and it hurt, but there was a lot of good that came out of it.
Is there any last words that you want to say on this subject?
No, I think we covered it all. I mean, there are times where I'll pass up a strip club and a part of me will be like, ooh, like what a time to be a stripper while The Weekend makes music. Because if that music was playing when I'm like, oh man, I would have just been killing it.
Did you have a song that you loved to dance to?
It varied. Thanks to racism, a lot of clubs would not play rap music. They didn't want to attract a specific type of customer.
Which,
Uh,
by the way, still happens in bars and clubs in West Hollywood, by the way.
oh
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. But you know, I dance to a lot of various different types of music, but I think my favorite set was this Lenny Kravitz song called I Belong to You, because it's got this really nice hypnotic chime to it. And then The Cure, and I forgot the song's name, but he's talking about the Spider-Man is coming, and it was just a really, really good Lullaby. That's the song. Lullaby by The Cure. So those two songs meshed into each other was a really good set, and I always made a lot of money.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, round of applause again for Angie. Thank you, Angie, for joining us and being so open and talking to us about this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, and guess what? Angie's not leaving. Angie's going to join us for the rest of the show. So,
Yeah, she is.
Angie,
she also put a gun to our head and said, I'm gonna stay until the end.
Did you tell Liz to submit that? You can be honest with us. I'll cut it out.
I did not.
No one believes you, especially not us. So it's okay. You got your moment. You're here.
Yeah, Liz, let us know that you're okay. Send us a DM and be like, I'm alive and okay.
Yeah.
Liz is gonna listen to this and she's just gonna love it.
Okay, well, Angie, Julie, guess what?
What?
You say what?
What is it?
It's time for the pop culture pop-up. First up on the pop culture pop-up, Julie, Angie, the BAFTA nominations are out. What is it? What are the nominations? Who was included and who wasn't?
Okay, for those of you that don't know, the BAFTAs are like the British Oscars, just as reputable as the Oscars, just right over there. And a lot of feelings. People had all of the feelings. Okay, so we'll start with leading actress nominations. I'm gonna tell you who is in, and then you're gonna notice who's out. Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple, which is very exciting because she hasn't shown up anywhere else. Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro, Vivian Opara for Rye Lane, which you can watch on Hulu, Margot Robbie for Barbie, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. There are two notable names missing from this list. Lily Gladstone did not get nominated, and Greta Lee from Past Lives did not get nominated as well.
But I
don't know.
see.
I think since Fantasia got the nomination, I think that's a huge achievement.
I agree. But people were very angry.
I see T.O. Yo got nominated for Past
We're
Lives.
next. We are next. And this makes me excited. For those of you that don't know, I've been rooting for Teo since I saw Past Lives, and he's been nominated for nothing in the States. They don't even know how to pronounce his name over here. So so leading actor nominations, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, which you can watch on Netflix, not for Color Purple, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Barry Keoghan for Saltburn.
They loved Saltburn. I'm
which again hasn't shown up over here. Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, and of course Teo Yoo for Past Lives, which makes me so excited. Interesting how two things: how Teo showed up on this, but not the lead actress, Greta Lee. She didn't show up in the nominations, and also Andrew Scott is missing for After
All of Us Strangers.
All of Us Strangers.
Which I'm gonna go watch tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited if this new crying Adrian will show up for that, because it's a doozy.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I'm ready to cry.
Julie, I finally watched Saltburn, like you had said too.
Okay.
I gave you my opinion on it. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it.
Right.
But my first point of reference with this movie was that movie, which, look at me, I'm pulling an Adrian and Julie where I can't remember the name of the movie. The Talented Mr. Ripley. Talented
Okay.
Mr. Ripley with Jude Law and
Never
Matt
seen
Damon,
it.
and also a bathtub scene. So if
Interesting.
you haven't seen The Talented Mr. Ripley,
Which I have not.
go watch it. It's a classic movie now at this point, but
Okay.
very similar premise. Oh, and a very young Gwyneth Paltrow as well. Really, really great movie. But as I was
Have I
watching
seen it?
Saltburn, I kept thinking, this is Talented Mr. Ripley. So
Interesting. Okay.
it
I'll
was
have to
really
look it
right.
up.
Yeah.
Supporting actress at the BAFTAs, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, which again, very excited that The Color Purple is finally getting some love. Claire Foy for All of Us Strangers, again, concerning. Why is a supporting actor showing up and the lead actor didn't show up in the category? It's confusing. Sandra Hewler for The Zone of Interest, Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers, which you can watch on Peacock. Yeah, interesting list. I hope Danielle Brooks takes it, but it'll probably be. I'm gonna give it to Divine. I think Divine will take it because I think
Right.
she won the Golden Globe
She did, and the Critics' Choice.
and the Critics' Choice. But I don't know, maybe because Danielle's showing up for the first time. Fingers crossed.
Did either of you? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna hit the last category because it was concerning to me a little bit.
Please.
Directors.
Okay.
Andrew High for All of Us Strangers. Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, which I think you can rent, and I hear it's phenomenal. It's a French film. Alexander Payne for The Holdovers, Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. No Barbie.
Yeah. I think only Margot Robbie got nominated.
I know.
Yeah.
What's happening, BAFTAs?
And they love to say they have a sense of humor over there. Oh, wake up. Where's the sense of humor?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen Maestro? Have either of you
Not
seen it?
yet.
No.
Not yet.
Okay, I've only heard bad things. So why are we including it?
Oh, I've heard good things.
Oh, okay.
No, I've heard only bad things as well.
Interesting. No, I've heard good things. You know what? I've said it before and I'm going to say again, even if this movie's bad, I do still think Bradley Cooper's going to go down in history as one of the best directors of our generation. I think he has a vision that maybe not a lot of people are seeing. But I do think that I believe in his talent. But I was going to say that I kind of like that new name that like a lot of people are upset about the Lily Gladstone, the Greta Lee, the Andrew Scott. But I kind of like that we're seeing new names. I like that Fantasia made it in. I like that Danielle Brooks. I think award season would be a lot more fun if we had different people winning every single award show that we were watching. Because then you don't go into the Oscars and it's super predictable. Like, oh, we know Emma Stone's gonna get it because she got the Golden Globe and she got the SAG. And it's not that fun when you're tuning in, you already know who it's gonna go to.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The Oscar nominations, by the way, will be revealed on Tuesday, January 23rd.
So excited.
So I'm sure we will discuss in next week's episode. Did
Yeah.
either of you watch the Emmys?
I did not.
No. Okay, did not watch live in protest because they weren't streaming them. And I think that is a mistake and it's weird. They had
Yeah, that
them
is weird.
on Hulu the next day. Which and guess what? I had to wait till 6 p.m. for them to show up on Hulu the next day.
Oh, so it
So
wasn't
maybe-
like automatically you wake up and there it is.
No.
I know that is weird.
So
So maybe not so much in protest as you physically couldn't.
Well, I only started
Watch.
watching. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I watched because I was hearing good things about the pace and the
Yes.
production. And so
I
I
heard
wanted to
good
see what
things.
people were talking about. And yes, it moved quickly and efficiently. There wasn't a lot of banter. There wasn't a lot of weird banter of
I love
forcing
that.
presenters to make
Mm,
jokes.
I love that.
And because it was the 75th, they were doing a lot of they were bringing back a lot of casts from different shows.
I
The
loved
cast of
that.
Martin, the cast of Cheers, the cast of Always Sunny in
Grays,
Philadelphia, the cast of Grey's Anatomy.
Game of
Um,
Thrones.
yes, there were a lot of um cool moments like that. So I wanted to
Yeah.
watch to see what was
Yeah. I
and the
saw that the
first
cast of It's Always Oh, sorry.
no, please,
I
Angie.
saw that the cast of It's Always Sunny made some good jokes about how they've been around for what, 14, 15 seasons, and they have never
Hmm.
been nominated for an Emmy, which, I mean, absolute garbage that they haven't been nominated because some of the most quotable lines that I have said with my friends have come from that show.
I've never seen it.
It's hilarious.
I've never seen it either, but if you watch it, guys, you and you take it in, you'll be like, oh, I know the kind of person Angie is because she loves this show. And Angie, I love you so much. I couldn't get through it. I hate it. I
Oh
hated
my
the
God.
first two I hate it. I hate it because it felt, well, one, I think the first episode's like racist or something.
It is so racist.
And everyone's like, that's just their humor. What?
It's it's amazing. Great writing. I mean, second season they introduced Danny DeVito to the team and it just chef's kiss. If you like that kind of crude humor, then by all means go watch It's Always Sunny.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if you're gonna be friends with Angie, just be prepared to at least once during the conversation be Angie. That's not okay to know.
Angie, I think you can say whatever you want.
I say whatever I want.
Yeah, wait till
Good.
she actually says it and your jaw's on the floor.
Next up on the pop culture pop-up, Mean Girls. It is the number one movie in America. The Mean Girls, the musical. There's a couple of things going on. I'm gonna start with this one. Ladies, please let me know what you think. Tina Fey criticized millennials for feeling ownership over Mean Girls. Quote, millennials especially like they feel real ownership of the movie. And they were sort of like, you can't, we own this. And I was sort of like, well, no, it's my thing. At one point, one of my daughters was like, don't let those millennials overthink it. Thoughts?
I'm a millennial and I completely agree with Tina Fey. Um, I think people took too much of their identity of that movie and made it their life. And it's like, it's a movie. Movies after X amount of years get remade, turned into musicals for some reason. But yeah, I agree.
Yes, bitch.
It's this idea. It's this lack of identity that a lot of millennials have, and they associate it with movies like Mean Girls or Harry Potter.
Julie?
So now go watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia in the first racist episode, and you come back and tell me you lost the audience immediately, Angie. I'm just kidding. No, you know what I think? I think I don't know anyone that was saying, no, it's ours and was genuine about it. You know, they were being dramatic in the way millennials are dramatic. So I think, I also think, okay, this is what I think about Tina Fey. I think she's a very pretentious woman. I do. I think she's a very pretentious woman. And I think sometimes you just got to be like, okay, that's cute. I mean, you can still say, oh, that's cute. You feel like that. I mean, I'm still going to do whatever the fuck I want, right? Because I'm actually the one that owns it and it's my idea. Um, I don't know. I feel like you kind of just got to be kind to your audience. Not that it's unkind particularly, but like, taking statements that are dramatic that people are saying for dramatic effect and taking them seriously just feels kind of ugh to me. It's just exhausting. Like, can you giggle? Like, no, I mean, I've never uttered the words "Mean Girls" is my thing, but if I were to be a person that gets on Twitter and is like, no, don't remake it. That's that's I love it. It was perfect how it was. I guarantee you, I don't mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's probably just like a dramatic thing I'm saying.
Okay, which is an interesting point because I feel like I bring this up multiple times about this Twitter thing where it's like two people say one thing and all of a sudden it's like an entire generation feels the same way. And I happen to agree with both of you, actually. I think people do, particularly in our generation, we do attach ourselves to things that I think mean
Totally.
a lot to us. And you know, we are the generation of the internet, and like we grew up like with the internet, and so
Hmm.
um it's like, why wouldn't we attach ourselves to certain things? Because also our entire lives have been riddled with trauma, so like let us attach ourselves to the things that bring us
Let's
joy.
find our happy. Yeah.
Right, but also I do agree, like I don't think every single person who's saying like I wish Mean Girls wasn't turned into a musical, I love that movie, don't, you know, was just expressing their opinion like they express their opinion on every single other
Every,
topic
every.
because we feel like we should.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so it becomes an interesting thing. And but then we also give it life. So Tina Fey making this comment is giving life to the fact that she's making us look like these types of people when really it's really just like we're so used to sharing every single thought that runs through our head on the internet
Mhm.
because that's what they want us to do.
Right.
Right.
Other we were also going to talk about Renee Rapp and uh her press tour. I've
Yeah.
seen a couple things where people are talking about her lack of media training, and A, how wonderful that is, and B, also how wild it is. Julie, what did you have to say about this?
So Renee Rapp is actually extremely well media trained. For those of you that don't know, she's been doing this for a long time, and she's one of the actresses that is media trained. But she also is Gen Z, and she doesn't give a fuck. And she's gonna speak her mind. And she has a very loud personality, not in volume, just like her existence is very, I'm here. Pay attention to me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think she's hilarious most of the time. I do think that sometimes I'm like, am I old? Like I don't get how this is funny, but like I can see you're having a good time. So that's the blast for all of us. So I mean, I love it. I love it, but here's my fear. I like Renee Rapp because I knew her from the original cast recording of Mean Girls. I listened to that over and over. I never got to see the stage show, but I listened to that. I knew she was a Broadway girly. I've seen some of her other stuff on YouTube. Then I found her EP accidentally, and then I listened to that. Then I found The Sex Lives of College Girls, which is a great show. And I think that unfortunately, those kinds of personalities, the Jennifer Lawrences, the Anna Kendrick, people get easily tired of it. And I fear for the moment that the world is going to get tired of it. No, Angie, we know. We
And
know.
just
We've
pointing at her.
gathered that you're going to be one of the ones to get tired of it immediately. And
Yeah.
I think it's so easy for the world to turn. I think we're on the edge of it. We're close to it.
I'm not rooting for her to fail. Like, good for her,
Right.
be successful. If that's your personality on camera, you know, you're a theater person, so I get it. But
Hmm.
I'm not going to tune in. It's just not my cup of tea. But I'm not going to bash it either. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I don't, that's fine. I'm just going to watch something else.
Right.
I do think that there's something refreshing about her doing a press tour because she does speak her mind so abruptly. I do think that she does need to maybe think a little bit about what she's saying. In particular, I think you have an excellent point, Julie. I think that is very real. Um, but there's something that she said on Watch What Happens Live that I found interesting. They asked, she's a big Bravo fan, and they were asking her about
I know you're gonna say.
Housewives. Yeah, they were asking her about Housewives. And particularly, they were asking her about the Housewives of Potomac because Giselle Bryan was on the show with her. And who's a Real Housewives of Potomac, and they asked her, which of the Real Housewives of Potomac do you think you'd be friends with in real life? And she said that she thinks that although she is ageist, she thinks she would hit it off with the oldest housewife on the show. And I find that comment interesting because I feel, now I don't know Renee Rapp, but I feel like I know what she's trying to say, in the sense that old people rule the world and they shouldn't. It's time for them to move, and we need to make room for younger people. But I don't think that she needs to say that she's ageist and is based and calling a 60-year-old woman old. Whether you believe that is old or not, I don't. I think that she'll look back one day when she's 60 and be like, I was a silly little bitch. And like, you know,
She lacks tact. That's what it is. And there are times when you speak, when you know you're going to say something stupid, and it's like, let me steer this in a way that may come off. Let me articulate it just a little better so that the media doesn't skew what I was trying to say.
and I think that there is something to be said about being a celebrity, and not even people who become celebrities don't necessarily know how to handle it, because there is a fine line of being authentic and real and truthful, but also maybe not saying that you're ageist
Right.
or being able to explain it in a way where you're actually not necessarily ageist, or you're ageist in a particular type of for a particular type of reason.
Right.
But
She's not
like,
using the word correctly. She's using it as like, oh, ha, ha, I'm so funny. Let me use this word that is discriminatory in the workforce. And we have people who actually suffer from it. And you're trying to be cute about it.
let's
Like,
not forget our HR rep is in the room.
Okay, but is it so that's what I meant earlier by is it sometimes that we're too old and we're not understanding the Gen Z humor? Like, is that
No,
something?
I don't think I watched the clip. I don't think that she was trying to be,
No.
I think that maybe she was trying to be funny, but it I mean, I watch a lot of TikTok. I haven't, I mean, I don't feel like, I don't know.
it's
I
like
don't
a
think,
I
comedian when if they make an off-brand joke about, let's say, assaulting a woman and he's trying to be funny, I think every generation has agreed now, yeah, assaulting women is bad. Whether you were trying to make a stupid joke, it's like, really? That's where you went with this?
But I do think the only reason why I say is maybe we're not understanding it, to be devil's advocate. Because
right.
again, I agree that sometimes she says things and I'm like, oh, maybe no, maybe take it back. But I went on that clip of that Bravo clip and I was looking at the comments, and so many comments are like, the Gen Z sense of humor is going over their heads. They don't get how a Gen Z. So that's why I'm saying that maybe they're talking amongst themselves a certain way that they're not. Maybe we don't get it because they're not talking to us about it. That they get this is funny in their language.
Could they have taken the word and given it a different meaning?
I don't know, but maybe
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
there's only
we should
one
have a.
culture that I can think of that has taken a word and given it another meaning, and a lot of people still don't say that word. So,
Okay.
yeah.
If we thought we were controversial before, Angie said, "Move aside, everybody. I got some thoughts to share."
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's like I said, it's being tactful and realizing what you're saying may offend some people. So maybe
Right.
reword it a little.
Yeah. I mean, I think she could have just said, I don't usually hang out with older people,
Yeah,
but I want to hang out with uh Karen Huger.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would laugh. I
Also,
think that's funny. Like, ah, shit, this bitch is crazy. I love her.
also, I think old people should not rule the government. You know, it's two different things.
I
Anyways,
actually think it would have all worked if she didn't say the word ageist.
agreed.
Yeah, it would
yeah,
have all worked. It would have all been funny if she didn't use that word.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Renee
Yeah.
Rapp, come on the show.
Come
Come
on the
on the
pod.
pod. Would love to
Angie's
have
only a
you.
special guest. She
Yeah,
won't be.
we won't have her. Don't you worry.
That's okay. I'll
um,
tune out.
finally, on the pop culture pop up, Haley Bailey of Chloe and Haley of Parkwood Entertainment of
It
The
is
Little Mermaid.
Halle. It's
Halle, oh my God.
It's okay.
Halle Bailey
Mhm.
of Chloe and Halle of The Little
Mhm.
Mermaid of Parkwood Entertainment had a baby.
She had a baby.
And she thinks none of us knew she was pregnant. Julie, what is the story?
It's silly because I know what the word gaslight means, and she's not going to do it to me. Yeah, Hallie, she says she kept her pregnancy a secret successfully.
Okay, could she have meant
No,
that? Could she have meant that she never announced that she was pregnant and so didn't tell publicly the world that she was pregnant and had the baby?
well, she used the word secret,
Okay.
so I think she means she kept it a secret. And she's like, I stayed off social media.
Oh, well, that
Okay, but also I vividly remember her walking behind her boyfriend in a live, and she's pregnant, and we all saw the belly baby.
I
And
didn't
then
know she was pregnant, but I
you
also
weren't
don't
paying enough
follow anything
attention.
she does.
You weren't paying enough
But
attention.
if
I mean,
she
I don't
said,
either, but it was all over Twitter.
I mean, if you stay off social media of your name, you are going to think everyone loves you. I mean,
Well, yes,
I'm like,
yes,
wow, I mean, how blissfully ignorant can one be?
Not the viewer
yeah.
saying bring back Angie every week.
Okay, tell Liz that we're gonna block her if she doesn't stop.
No,
Just
I mean, is it a little delusional that people didn't know that she was pregnant? Yes, because
Friend.
A, there's paparazzi photos that clearly show her having a bump. B, all the outfits that she wore um were hiding her belly. And three, I think the most incriminating thing is that she was on live post giving birth and she got up and her breasts look like breasts that are producing milk.
And
And so
And the baby
and
was a
then
dead giveaway.
and then she was holding a baby.
Angie.
No, but there is that someone posted like a picture or a video or something on Christmas of the presents by a tree, and there's like a car, like a baby, I don't know,
Bassinet.
fucking yeah, bassinet kind of like the ones that you put on the floor. In the picture, everyone's like, "No, we've been known," and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "The baby arrived." We all
Yeah.
knew. We all celebrated the arrival of the baby before you told us, bestie.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna gaslight me
Yeah.
to thinking I didn't know this existed.
I didn't know the timeline. So I was thinking that she was going to reveal the baby bump at the Oscars.
Oh,
Um, that was before I saw her go live. Well, I didn't watch the actual live, but I saw a clip.
right.
And then I was like, oh, she's already had the baby.
Yes.
Because I was like, okay, how great would that be? It's the last thing of award season. You know, she was in The Little Mermaid, she was in The Color Purple. Why would the Oscars not have her there? Um, I was wrong. You did get me there.
You know what? Speaking of the Oscars and Color Purple, though, I'm manifesting a Color Purple performance at the
Is
Oscars.
there a song that is being
I don't know, but I want a performance either way.
okay? Yeah, let's
I
I
don't
make
don't
know if
think
that.
I'd
so
want
because
that.
none. What'd you say?
Well, do you remember RRR's Oscar performance?
I liked it.
I was disappointed in it.
Why
I
were you
like that they were
disappointed,
just.
Angie? What
It
about
just
it?
it was just so bland compared to the
Bland.
excitement
Well,
of what the
compared
movie
to the
was.
movie, yes. Compared to the movie,
Okay,
it,
yeah,
it
but they
was.
had 3 minutes in a, in a
Do
stuffy
okay,
show.
Go
Angie.
big or don't go at all
What
because
you're not
it's the
gonna
Oscars.
do.
You're telling me there's no budget for the Oscars to go big?
Okay, what you're not gonna do is come on Adrian's show and disrespect the Oscars like that. We have to put a
Well,
stop.
no, you know why? It's because they put all their budget into Beyonce's performance where she created a tennis ball.
Okay,
How about that?
understandable.
That's gonna do it for the pop culture pop-up. We'll be back next week with more pop culture chisme and no Angie, so don't you worry. I'm just kidding, Angie. Just kidding. Listen, if you want to come on this show, you gotta be
ready for
you
it.
gotta be ready.
Yeah.
Julie, do you have a Latinx spotlight for us?
I do have a Latinx spotlight. You know, my relationship with Jennifer Lopez is love and hate. Some days I love her and some days I cannot stand what she's doing. But you know, she is releasing a movie on
I
Amazon Prime.
maybe.
Jennifer Lopez is releasing This Is Me Now, the film. What is it about? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. But I know that there's dancing and I know that there's singing.
And Fat
And
Joe.
and Fat Joe, which honestly, do you need anything else?
I mean,
I'm sold.
Ashanti's vocals. I mean, if we're gonna
Okay, this is not the time. This is Latinx spotlight. We're being nice to her. We're being nice. We're highlighting her talent. And this is what I mean with Jennifer Lopez is she is a celebrity. She's going to release a movie. She's going to star in it. And she's not going to tell you what the fuck's about because you're going to tune in anyway. And it's going to be chaotic. And the storyline's probably going to be trash. But you know what you're going to do? You're going to sit there. You're going to watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it because she's just that. I have an idea and I have the money. Guess what we're doing? We're making my idea come true. It's like it, you know, she's so funny without trying that I constantly think about, remember in the pandemic when everything was a trend, everything was a TikTok trend, a TikTok challenge. And remember she tried doing her challenge and it was her walking on the beach and she took off her jacket and everyone was like, so what's the fucking challenge? What's the challenge, Jennifer? I love her. I love her, and sometimes I can't stand her. But what is it called again? Jennifer Lopez. This Is Me Now, the film. Besties, we're getting appearances from Ben Affleck, Kiki Palmer, Sofia Vergara, and Jennifer Lewis. This had a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary, right?
No.
Okay.
It is a movie.
I'm obsessed with the title.
It's crazy. I saw the preview. I'm like, what is this?
I'm all for it. There's a motorcycle in it. I think her first single off the album is part of it. So if you've seen the music video for her latest single, it's a wedding reception. She's married to Derek Huff, I think. And they're dancing. The song, this is a Latinx spotlight. I'm gonna be nice. So if you want a glimpse into it, go watch her, her music video. Chaos. I'm just so excited for it.
Okay. Can't wait.
Mhm.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Time for some azúcar. Angie, as our special guest of honor, you get to go first.
Thank you. So over the weekend, Eric planned a little date night for us, and we went to Luna Luna out in downtown LA. For those of you who don't know what Luna Luna is, it is an art exhibition that has been recreated. It was an amusement park that was created by artists in Hamburg, Germany in 1987. And it had artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat and Keith Haring and David Hockney. And it was a magical experience for everyone. And they were like, great, let's pack it all up. We're going to go to the next town. And it never did. Obviously, a year later, Jean-Michel Basquiat passed away from a drug overdose. And like all artists do, they just kind of go on in their lives. So they found the shipping containers of all of the amusement park rides, souvenirs in Texas. So they brought it to Los Angeles and they recreated it. Tickets are still available if you want to go check it out. There is plenty of parking as well to make it a little easier. You do have to pay for parking, of course, but really great magical experience to go in. They had this cute little wedding booth where Eric and I got remarried and they married Eric and I in like a cosmic ceremony. So it was cute. And they give you like a little Polaroid. And then after that, we went to dinner. So that's my azúcar.
Okay, throw it in our face that you're married. Just kidding. That sounds very lovely. Thank you, Angie. I'll go next. speaking of Renee Rapp, I have not been able to stop listening to Tummy Hurts. And now my tummy hurts. It
Yeah,
is
it's a good
so
song.
good. Tummy Hurts by Renee Rapp featuring Coco Jones. Make sure you listen to the Coco Jones version. It's
Mm-hmm.
so good. Oh, they can sing. I love
Yeah.
it. I listen to it every day, multiple times a day. Um, it's such a good song. I mean, yeah. I mean, oh, I love women who can sing.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
agree.
good. And it's a fun, it's like it's a fun song about, people.
Stop it.
It's
No
really good.
way.
Tummy Hurts by Renee Rapp featuring
Mhm.
Coco Jones.
Yeah.
Put it on really loud on the car. And then once you know the words, sing at the top of your
Yeah, it's
lungs.
a good one. It's a good one. Her entire album is really good.
Yes, yes.
My azúcar this week is look, I'm the queen of rewatching TV shows and they become my comfort show and then I watch them over and over again until I die. And right now I'm rewatching Suits.
Oh.
I love Suits. Guys, I am gonna say something on record. I think Rick Hoffman is a comedic genius. I think his performance as Louis Litt is one of the best comedic performances that we have seen in our generation. I think it's so good. It's so funny. I'm constantly rewinding his moments because I find them so funny. Yeah, I love him. I think he's hilarious and I would watch the show for him alone. I mean, everything else is cute and whatever. I often don't understand what the fuck they're talking about because it's all about finance and I
Mm.
get lost easily and I'm like,
Aren't they
okay, you lost
lawyers?
me. Yeah, but like they're corporate lawyers. So it's all about money and move this
Mm.
and the CEOs and oh my God, it's a lot. And so but it's still a fun watch. And again, Rick Hoffman as Louis Litt, I think one of the best performances on television. I think he's so funny.
Okay. I love it.
Nice to know.
Okay, well, that's gonna do it for us. Let's
We
give it
did
up
it.
for our Salvadorian queen, Angie. Yay!
Woo!
I'm
Thanks
also
for
black.
oh, okay. Our Afro
Yes.
Latina queen,
Yeah, she is.
Angie. Yes. Angie, thank you so much. You have lit up the show in a way nobody can.
Thank you.
Maybe one day you'll actually come to work and produce the show.
I
But
mean, I always
Maybe.
give you guys I give Julie my producer notes. I think it's Julie who's not relaying that information.
let me tell you something Angie said the other
Look at
day.
her throw me under the bus.
Yeah, she totally did. I posted about the newest episode and I posted a
I
video
saw.
on our story, and it was a clip of just Julie and I talking, and then I linked it to I linked the YouTube and Angie responds, "There's no sound." And I
Producer
did that on
Angie coming to work.
I did that on purpose, Angie. There was no sound.
The audience did not register that.
Okay. Noted. Thank you. Ah.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Thank you, Angie, very,
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you,
You are welcome
Angie.
here anytime we invite you. Okay. I'm just kidding. You are welcome here anytime. Um, make sure that you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Me and Chisme. Make sure you follow our Spanish TikTok at MeAndChisme.mx. Make sure you visit YouMeAndChisme.com to read all of Julie's wonderful reviews. Sign up for the newsletter. Make sure that you share this podcast with somebody. We would appreciate it immensely. Don't say you didn't learn anything today. Tell them to listen and learn. Make sure that
Mhm.
you give us a rating, a review. That would help us tremendously. And maybe you too could end up here on You, Me, and Chisme.
Dreams come true.
Dreams come true. There you go. Make sure you send us fan mail because who knows what fan mail will lead to. And we'll be back next week with more Chisme. But until then, make sure you have lots of love, lots of peace, and most importantly, lots of Chisme in your life. Bye.
Bye.